So, we talked a lot about the Leafs. Well, actually, not really about the Leafs. We talked a lot about Mitch Marner.
One person.
Let's talk about the fact that, again, and despite having some shaky game play on Saturday night, the Leafs added 2 big players. And they got the third-line center they were after. They got the right-shot defenseman they were after. I think in the right-shot defenseman department, way better than we could have thought. I was not holding out hope for Brandon Carlo in the lead. Didn't even factor into my thinking.
Well, and then when we did hear Brandon Carlo, I'm like, welp, Easton Cowan's a Bruin. It's Minton, and I don't love that, but I definitely thought it was Cowan.
You have to give to get.
Yes.
Now, Jesse, can we play a little bit of what Brad Treliving had to say on Friday? This is the first press conference. Take this to 340.
Just the profile of him, he's big, he's long, great stick, defends the blue paint really well, excellent on the penalty kill, tremendous character, and talking both to him and Donnie today, he's been a big part of the success that's gone on in Boston, and they've had a lot of it. But he's been on our radar for a long time. Is there salary being?
So that was what they had to say about him. It was kind of a little bit generic. I was hoping for more, but I did like his Scott Laughton answer, and that one is the one I want to bring up next because it's going to segue into something else where you're gonna want to. Are you ready for this? Hug John Tortorella.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm setting you up to want to hug John Tortorella.
Am I gonna get punched?
No. This is heartwarming stuff. Okay, Jesse, go ahead. Here's
I mean, Josh, you look at all that. That is a piece of it. Like you're looking for real good players, but I always find that good character people tend to follow success, and success follows them. Listen, I've been watching Scotty Laughton since he was in Oshawa, and he's been a captain wherever he goes. You look and see some of the things being said about him in Philly today, leaving. Just a character guy. And I can tell you, as hard as it was for him, he's been a Flyer his whole life. He was emotional talking about coming home playing for the Leafs. So he's excited. I know that was a really important chapter in his life in Philly, but he's excited to start one here. Were you surprised?
So he's got 10 out of 10 passion levels, which is key. But Brad said something there, and I was like, well, that's interesting. What did they say about him in Philly? So I was able to dig up this clip about John Tortorella, and this is what John Tortorella had to say before Scott Laughton was even traded. Because everybody kind of knew it was coming, but...
You think?
Yeah, but...
The Last Supper picture?
But like Andrei Kuzmenko had just been traded, and Torts hadn't even been briefed on that yet. So you're talking... That's where the timeline is. Here's what Torts had to say about Scott Laughton.
A good friend of mine. We've talked quite a bit this morning. I think it's worn on him a little bit. I think there's been some struggles in his game, and I guess rightfully so, with all the stuff flying around him and his family. But that, like I told him this morning, no matter what happens here today, if you're still with us or you're not, our relationship's always going to be our relationship. That'll never go away. And quite honestly, at the end of the day, when you're done coaching or playing, those are the most important things. That's going to be a guy that I truly respect and love. That is always going to be part of me.
There you go. We'll leave it there. So that's pretty big. Those are big words from John Tortorella.
I would imagine him and Laughton will be like texting over the next couple months. I think there's a lot of there's more inter-team communication than you think. Like people asking for advice from. I mean, technically, you have 31 teams full of enemies.
Yeah,
when you take the ice, but that's not how it always shakes out. Especially when one team doesn't make the playoffs and the other does. It's good to give shine to this because we only ever talk about John Tortorella when he's mad. And those were some very gentle, kind words for Scott Laughton, who I believe there was a death in his family recently.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
And it's always hard. It's always hard. So this has probably been a very stressful season for him and a stressful couple months, and hopefully, now that the trade deadline's over and he doesn't have to wonder anymore, he's able to get his feet under him.
Jesse, one of the things that obviously was it seems to be the thing that the Leafs want us to focus on the most is the character element of this. Clearly that they're focused on that. What do you think about Brad talking about who these guys were as people? Because obviously you have to like what they do on the ice first, but it sort of seemed to be something that was noticeable in his answers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's something to focus on because they haven't played any games yet. When he was talking, on Friday, you're bringing in two guys who are going to fit in the room. That's always a question with the Leafs, because they have such a, I think, distinct dressing room dynamic where who the personalities are who are going to drive the play on and off the ice. So getting guys who are going to fit in that, I always think matters with the Leafs because of their unique dressing room. So I feel like they got some good guys who will fit in. Now it's about can they also perform on the ice?
Right. And if you haven't noticed, the Leafs have played like shit lately. So they have
actually legit played like shit.
They had a meeting. It was first reported that it was after the game Saturday. Now it appears it was Sunday morning. But Berube took them all aside and was very frustrated with, according to Luke Fox, their defensive mistakes and lack of focus. And apparently multiple players are said to have spoken up during the meeting as well that they needed to get their shit together.
Good.
And this follows a couple of weeks ago where I believe they had another one where the captains kind of stepped up and said, okay, we're not playing well.
It's a bit of a baptism by fire for Laughton and Carlo. Like, holy shit. First game.
I just got here.
First game with a new team, and you already have a meeting. But established precedents, man. Listen, the Leafs, this is like, what, a 3-game not even skid? Like, I think they've picked up points. The standard's up. It's up. And winning this division is a very important thing. There are no easy matchups in the Stanley Cup playoffs. However, if given the choice between the Lightning, the Panthers, or any of the teams in that wild card picture right now, you probably pick the teams in the wild card picture, which means you still have games to win. And you got Utah tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing awesome.
Juuso Valimaki, by the way, they just announced will be out 8 to 9 months after an ACL tear.
Oh,
so he just had surgery. Yeah. They've had a lot of bad injuries this year.
So, Jesus, he's not going to be back till like Christmas.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Utah's not doing great. You better right the ship before Thursday when you play the Panthers in what is essentially a mini-series. You play them 3 times before the end of the season. I don't know what horrible thing you did in a past life where you earned that. But, like, if you have any hopes of finishing ahead of the Panthers, you can't lose that series.
Yeah, you got to win.
You got to at least have 3 points versus 3 points. Is that even possible? I don't think that's even possible. Win 2 or 3, for God's sake. You got to win the series. You have to win that series.
And hope it doesn't go to overtime, too.
This is the most important season for the Leafs in this era for them to win the division. Because, like you said, but I think this year, because especially the wild card teams really shouldn't scare you. They should be teams you want to face, and your other option is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, there's 6 really good teams in the East right now, and New Jersey's kind of teetering with all of their injuries, but I still count them as one of the really good teams. And then you have two of Ottawa, New York, or Columbus who are going to sneak in there in those 2 wildcard spots, and those should be really good matchups for the Leafs. And if you don't win the division, you get Tampa, and that's your other option, and that's crazy. So every loss here matters down the stretch, and the Leafs were able to take advantage of, I think, a spread out schedule early on in the season to rack up a whole bunch of points. And now that things are getting crunched down the end of the season with 4 nations taking up so much of the season, everything's kind of smushed together to end it. They're kind of faltering, and they can't falter at all. And I'm worried about this end of the season if they don't win that division in face of Tampa.
So you got that schedule open, and I'm looking at it. Like, well, I don't know what sociopath booked the Vegas, Colorado, Utah road trip. Then the Leafs are finally at home, but the homestand ends with a back-to-back that then puts them on another mini road trip. You're home for 1 game. Then you go back to California.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really struggling to feel bad for them.
California, where we will be.
Yes,
watching
that's right.
those games.
That's right.
Yeah,
But
well, at least the San Jose one.
yeah, but at the end of the day, man, it's the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Like,
The point is about the schedule is you got to win. Who cares what the schedule is? Win the games.
Yep.
they've looked tired recently, and they're going to have to find a way to not be tired.
It's not
because
an excuse.
The schedule does not slow down, as
Yeah.
we established.
And there's so little games left. 19 games, I think True Living said. 19 games left for them. Like, Florida's won 6 in a row. You have to compete with that.
Can you skip ahead to April? Just because I'm noticing the Leafs only have 19 games left. They have 3 games left versus Florida. Only one of them's in March.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the end of the season, psycho.
Yeah, the end of the season goes a little later than typically because of Four Nations, where they're playing up till April 17th. But a lot of games left, or not a lot of games left, and they need to win a whole bunch of them to win that division.
They got a Tampa, Florida back-to-back.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But it's National Hockey League and things don't stop. And they might even get passed by Tampa, who are 1 point behind them in the exact same amount of games played. And you don't want to have that Game 7 on the road in Tampa. Like, this is a really important stretch here to win all these games and win this division.
It's nice to even talk about winning the division, because in the past we're like, well, I sure hope they get home ice advantage. Like,
Oh, it's like
we were never
Valentine's
talking
Day.
about winning the division.
And you're like, whoop, they're not going to do that. But, maybe if they get hot at the right time.
Yeah.
No, it's just exhausting.
No, you want to try to put yourself in the best position possible. And by the way, if they get out of the first round and you've won the division, chances are you're also in the second round home ice advantage. It matters more than just the first series.
Yes.
And so let's hope that tonight they make something of it, because we are going to find out. I know they're exhausted. I know they've barely been home. Games don't stop.
2 days off and you're playing a reeling team that's not in the playoffs. Win
the game. Goaltending's been a little less than I think ideal the last couple of games too. Joseph Wall had a soft game. Stollers, I think, had a soft game against Colorado. Now, Colorado's got some A-class shooters.
They got A-class shooters, and the Leafs are hemorrhaging chances.
Yeah.
They're giving up a lot of shots and a lot of chances. It's a testament to how crazily efficient their offense is that they were even in that game, right? They made Blackwood look absolutely terrible. Colorado's playing like near perfect hockey, and the Leafs have 4 goals on the board.
Yeah.
It's got to be frustrating. In fact, I know it was, because producer Drew was texting me, and I refused to talk crap because I was like, they still might blow it, and then they did.
Yeah.
So I was glad I banked that goodwill. Just kidding, Drew.
He dunked on you throughout the entire LFR. It was great.
Good. It was good. It's like he was there.
It also
Felt
kind of goes to show the value of Chris Tanev.
Fuck. Yeah, they need him. They need him.
Just a little.
But here's what's crazy. They don't have him right now, so win some hockey games.
I want to talk again quickly, guys, about Morgan Rielly.
Boo.
We have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be. I don't want to jump on somebody when they're down, but the play is really not good, and it's to the point now where, and this is just in my own head, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to skip ahead to the offseason, but since we're here, is that a player that they go, I think we gotta look at making a change here?
You got to look at it. I do think you have to look at
Unless the play, because remember, he didn't have a great 2023 either, but then the playoffs hit and he was an animal.
Yep. I mean, there's how many, let me ask you this, if you're a Leaf fan, how many players on this team do you even want back if they lose in the first round?
Well,
What are you preserving?
Everybody will be mad.
No, I hope this guy's back and this guy's back. Why? What are you preserving? Their identity is they lose always. I'm sure there's a couple guys. Well, I'd like to keep him. Oh, okay, you get 2. You get 2, what is it? Service dog players, security,
Keepers?
whatever. Yeah, that's it. What are you preserving? Now, if they win and they go on this great run, cool, great. But if they lose yet again, I don't see the point in keeping nearly anybody.
Jesse.
Rielly has a no movement clause.
Cool. Cool.
So we just had a 45-minute conversation about
Yes.
no movement
Hey, you know who
clauses.
signed
I don't know
that?
if you can move it.
The two guys that we mentioned.
I think Morgan Riley's here to stay, and you got to figure it out with him.
He's got 3 years. No, he doesn't.
No, he has more than
He
that.
is-
Till 2030.
Oh, no. It's 3 years. 3 years after this one.
No.
Yes, I guess. If
Yes.
you look.
Well, does the 20? No, I think it skips ahead that 2030 number, doesn't it? Because it says 2030, but that's just.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, it's till
Oh,
2030.
Yeah,
shit.
4.
Sorry, it's displayed as. Oh,
Yeah, because
shit.
that doesn't keep going.
Oh, wow.
But Morgan Riley's got a no movement clause. $7.5 million, I think, is relatively cheap under the higher salary cap in 2 years for the role that Morgan Riley's expected to play on this team. I think you got to figure it out with him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Man, Bradshaw Living has literally no work to do on the back end for like several years.
Yeah, well, he might though. He might still have to work on.
He might.
moving that deal.
He might.
No matter what. I'm telling you, I never liked that. I've never liked that deal. Never.
It
Took a lot of shit when it was signed. I never liked it. I like the player. I like the person even more. He's a great guy.
It has been an inefficient use of money. But I think it's largely gone under the radar because year in and year out, you're spending even more money on an offense that regularly disappears
In the playoffs.
the moment
Yep.
the calendar turns over.
Yep. Agreed.
I think to be your first pairing left shot defenseman, that's a good amount of money.
Yeah, that's a good amount of money. Is he playing up to it?
There it is.
Right. This season, no, but he has in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we got to
I
hope
feel
that he
like
gets
the
back to
salary
that.
cap has been, the cap hit has been adequate for what he's done in the past. This season, no, but there's no reason he can't get back to that or he can't display that when we need it the most in the playoffs.
Do I let the words leave my mouth? I'm deciding. I better make a decision quick. First game with a new partner, though,
Yeah.
and
I've got to tell you this, man.
he should be used to a first game with a new partner.
It better work with this partner.
If it doesn't, you need to have the should this guy go conversation because
How?
well,
What if he says no?
then it's a very short conversation, just like Mitch.
I think that's what, if you approach Morgan Riley with a trade, I think that's what happens. And he says no.
There
then-
is something to be said, though, and CJ said this on the CJ show, where a team, when they express that they don't want you anymore, a lot of guys will be like, maybe at first they'll say no, but then eventually they go, you know what, maybe I should go. Or maybe we should. Now, are the Leafs going to get any value? Zero. Because he'll be able to choose where he wants to go.
Yep.
But I just look at this and I'm like, you need to see more from this guy. Specifically need more. And if that doesn't come till the playoffs, I'm open to that.
What was
if
his
you're
best-
not good until the playoffs, Morgan, like if we're getting 80% of that deal to the playoffs, but then the playoffs he gives us 120%, I'm down.
What's the best series
He might be hurt.
he's played in his entire life?
Tampa 2023.
Do they win?
Yes.
There you go. That's how important he is to this team. He's important.
Yeah.
He plays great, you have a chance. If he doesn't, could be a long night.
Yep. Okay.